We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
Today, all week, we've been talking about the 8 A's. They are the components of due diligence that you should review each acquisition candidate to make your land business better, hopefully, and more successful. Today, Friday, we are going to do the last 3: alive, abundance, and afraid.
But before we get to that, I came up with a game yesterday on Thursday at the end of Thursday's show.
We should do this at the end of the episode.
Oh no, let's lead with it. I want to do it because it's funny.
Let's just get through. Alive and abundance and afraid are very easy.
Oh darn
attributes.
it! Okay, well, sheesh. Well, let me write down. Now I got another A. Argumentative.
Baby, do you want to see argumentative? It's a ninth day. Argue.
Yeah.
Do you argue? You have to argue with your
Great.
business partner about doing the deal.
Jeez, I didn't add that on my list. Thank goodness. All right, at the end of the show today, then, we will each reveal our 4 A's that you need for a successful, hopefully, relationship. Since
I'm going to review my spouse according to the 8 A's as if she were an acquisition candidate.
Oh, well, I'm going to give you 4 A's that I need that aren't necessarily on this list to be be successful with me.
Hey, each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum. We take a deep dive into a land-related topic by your request. Here's the question.
Okay, Janet wrote, if you could go back to the beginning of your land investment career, what would you change? Tune in at the end of the show, Janet, for my 4 A's, and I'll tell you. Just kidding. What would can I go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would I change? I would have gone bigger dollar amounts earlier, and I would have been open to taking on partners, funding partners at any moment, just to make those deals happen. Not be afraid.
2 things I would change. One of them is the same as Jill. Number 1, we went through a real tough time, I went through the real tough time in the middle of my career because I had a single point of failure from a sales chain standpoint. The acquisitions were our acquisition. We've always been good at acquisitions, and we are now, always from day one.
Sure.
But I hated sales, so my answer was to continually make it more streamlined and easy to the point where it failed. It was a single point of failure. And Jill came along and changed all that. So goes without saying, for much better. It was times 8 immediately when she got involved because she brought people back into the business. You know, I am constantly trying to remove people from everything and make it more computer related and data related, like many of our members are engineers and things like that. So it's like, how can I remove the human element to this? And that's not good. That people don't create real estate deals. There's a reason that the National Association of Realtors and so many people become real estate agents every single month, because there's a huge people component to this business. Number 1. And then number 2, what was your 2? Because you said it perfectly.
Money, going bigger deals, and accepting
leverage.
funny.
You know, when I was much younger, I was beating my chest constantly saying, we have never borrowed a dollar.
Yeah.
And we have never taken on any partners. And so what that forced us to do is use our own capital, whether we had it or we didn't, in some way to buy land. Mm-hmm. What it did was pretty dramatically restrict how much property we bought at any given time. We would stop very often. We would stop on the 10th of the month and say, we're out of money.
Yeah, right now I got to try to sell something.
And so then that would make us sell it for probably less than it was worth, or we could sell it for, and on and on. Right. So when we created Land Academy, it was to solve that. And we created Land Academy 10 years ago to have people join, get them educated the way that we thought was appropriate, and make them our business partners, whether they were funders or people coming up with their own deals that needed our money. And that worked out really well for us and for our Land Academy members. Mm-hmm. That's what I would change. I would have taken on somebody like Jill. You know, if Jill and I started this whole thing together 30 years ago, I can't even imagine.
Man.
I can't even imagine what it would be. We're not suffering at all, but it would be look a lot different.
Do you know what? I'm going to argue it was better when it was harder to do. As time has gone on, it's been great for new investors because things are easier. You can find stuff, mapping functions, the data, it's accessible. I kind of liked it when we were flying by the seat of our pants and kind of making up stuff. I think that was easier and better, and it kept a lot of people out.
Yeah,
people couldn't figure it out.
There's a lot of
and I liked that
intuition. What we did back then. Now it's a lot of data analysis. But you're right. There's still some intuition.
There's still some intuition, which again keeps people out, and why they can't get there, And we're trying to help. That's this whole week with due diligence. We're trying to really help you make good acquisition decisions so you're successful.
Yep. Today's topic: alive, in abundance, and afraid. The final three, very simple in my opinion, but necessary attributes. Go ahead, Jill.
So the alive, I came up with a couple years ago. And it was just simply to check a box when it needs to be so important. It needs to be discussed on your very first phone call too. When you're talking to a seller, they're reaching out, they're answering they're responding to your letter, they're calling back, making sure you're real and you're able to do the deal. You need to do right back at them. Are you the right person? Are you able to do the deal? Not my grandpa wanted me to have this. I know it's mine and I can sell it. My grandpa passed 3 years ago. Well, hold on a moment. Well, whose name's on the deed? Grandpa.
It sounds simple, but to paraphrase, the person that you're buying, the person that you're talking to on the phone needs to be the person you're going to buy their property from and who's going to sign everything.
Right.
There's without going into a lot of detail, because I think if you're new, it'll freak you out. When people die, and with property in their name, it's hard to undo. Mm-hmm. And so we have undone it and spent years doing it, and we'll do it again this year, undoing dead people's property. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that, for whatever reason, Jill and I have taken on and made work for us.
I'm not afraid of it, but it's not as easy.
But you need to know before you start the acquisition. Go move on to the next step. Mm-hmm. If it's in Grandpa's name, or they do it on the other end of the phone. Right.
And one of the nice, easy things is to, when you're new, just make this a high priority. And if it's not this way, then I would move on to the next deal. But when you're new and the call comes in and you're talking to Mr. Gunschmalis, I don't know. Gunschmalis. And you say, well, I know it, and I'm like, I have the luxury. I'm not that new. I was able to have a conversation and pull it up on the computer while I'm talking to Mr. Gonschmalis. And I say, well, I see Harry and Frida Gonschmalis on the deed, here on the owners. Is Frida still with us? Oh, goodness, yes. She as a matter of fact, she's making me some tea right now. Awesome. Check that box.
That's it.
And that's
everybody's alive.
Yep. And then
it's
you move on.
that simple.
Now, abundance. This is a good one. The more abundance is always the better. Here is always the best. Kind of like we talk about more acreage is rule of thumb. Abundance is key. Because if you think about this one, you have 20 deals that came in this week and you're like, whew, oh my gosh, it's Thursday. How do I have time to look at all these? And B, I gotta pick some. I don't know what to do. 20 deals to review and pick, right? Versus 2 or 3. Think about that. And it all starts with how much mail you sent out and how good you are on the phone and all those other things. But it really starts with mail. So you send out enough mail that you have 20 acquisitions that you're staring at. That's abundance. What's going to happen? You're going to line them up. You're going to have them on your spreadsheet, have them in your Airtable base, whatever it is. You're going to go down and go, well, this one has 8 A's. This one has 7 A's. This one has 6 A's. And then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See where I'm going there? Look at all. You're going to go right away, focus on those top ones that have the 7 and 8 A's. And those are the best ones. Those are the ones you're going to buy. And you're doing great. Versus, say you had 2 or 3 that came in this week. And one has 1. And one has 1A, and one has 3 A's, and one has maybe 2.5. I'm not sure about the alive thing. now you're going to make different decisions, and you're not going to make the best decisions. And I would argue, in a perfect world, you don't buy any of them. You just move on and send out more mail, start over. But sometimes when you're in a scarcity like that, you're going to like start, like Jack said, well, I can relax this A and I can relax that A. And you said that earlier in the week, you're going to start making bad decisions. So you need abundance. And the last one is,
hold on. With abundance, you want, when you have abundance, you are dramatically reducing your risk.
Yeah.
When you can choose from 10 deals and do the best one or the best two, where you're not seeing something that's not there. This is a big problem for me when I started. I've got a real estate deal. I'm Superman. I am going to do this deal, and everybody else might have an attribute problem. They might see that it used to have a gas station on it as a real negative thing. I'm going to spin it. It doesn't apply to me. I'm going to jam this thing through and sell it to somebody. If you have abundance, then the gas station property won't even reach, you'll never have this problem. So I don't want to gloss over abundance. I created it because I was the problem back then with abundance. You need to be looking at a lot of deals and not jam one through the pipeline that you should have killed.
Thank you. Afraid. And that's just at the end of the day, you look at all the A's, you look at the money, you look at your money, you look at your acquisition criteria, you look what's coming up next, all those things, but really focusing on that deal though. What's your gut? Are you afraid of this deal? Is there anything that you're not sure about? Something kind of just sounded wrong. Like, this whole zoning thing, I got some gray areas there. I don't know. This might be, this property might only have one use for one buyer in the whole planet. And that makes me afraid because there's only going to be one guy who's going to drive that far and overcome this and put in the culvert, fill in the blank. It's got other things going on, and that makes you afraid. So that's what that one is. It's really, or even just the price. It could be something like there's something in there that's making you go pause. And what I love about these are the deals that we usually look at every week on Thursdays on our closed weekly member call. You have a chance. Who gets this? Could you imagine? I'm afraid of. Every profession should have a version of this.
Yes.
That you can run this by somebody because you're just not sure about this one. Like, I think I'm going to take down this, take on this, project, fill in the blank. And I have a mentor I can go to. That would be so nice.
Afraid is
that's us.
The final attribute, and it's a fantastic prelude into the last part of this week.
Yeah.
It's cold feet.
Yeah.
Should I be marrying this girl? She checks all the boxes.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
All the A's. She's got them all. But I'm still afraid. That can happen in a real estate deal, and it's legit. It's legit on your wedding week. It's totally legit. If there's something that's just not sitting right with you with this deal, you have to really look at that. What I would do to solve it is to bring in somebody who's much more experienced, like
an unrelated third party.
Or somebody in Land Academy and say, this deal checks all the boxes. Should I be doing it or not? Can you take a look at it?
WYMTG. WYMTG. Would you marry this girl?
This is look. I'm going to take the gender out of this because I bet there's at least people,
MTP. Would you marry this person?
Half of the people who got cold feet are women. I'm sure of it.
I don't know.
It should be like that.
I don't know. No, you know what? Since we moved off to this topic now, to the fun talk on the would you marry this person? WYMTP. So I'm going to say women more than men will ignore gut stuff just to check that box. So it's not, don't saying it's right.
Women ignore gut stuff?
Yeah, sometimes because I want to just get married. I have my dress picked out. I've been planning this forever. The invites are out. I'm going to be 30. I cannot be the only one that is not married.
All right.
I have to do this.
Oh, Jill,
so
you
that
crack
would be
me
a win.
up. You're
But
so the girl for me.
back to this. Would you like to go first or second?
I would like to go second.
Okay. So I came up with my 4 relationship A's, and they are number 1, affordable. That's the only one that I pulled from this list. Everything else that I made up on my own. But affordable is important. Is this person a spending disaster?
Yep.
Can I afford to be in a relationship with them? Are they going to put us into bankruptcy based on the 3 car loans they have right now?
Yes.
And the job they can barely hang on to?
Jill, you're brilliant.
Or blah, 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 blah.
Brilliant.
That is really important in a relationship. I'm sure when you sign up on Land Academy here on the podcast, you really want to learn about dating. Here you go. So anyway, affordable. Number 2.
Hold on. I don't get to deal with that? Or I go later?
You go after.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to describe mine, you describe yours, and that'll be good. So my relationship 1 is affordable. Number 2, agreeable. Are they?
Way off.
I
What?
did. I was say, are they agreeable?
You have your own A's for this.
That's what I said. I made up my own A's. It's not this A. I gave my own 4 relationship A's. Affordable. Number 2 is agreeable. Are we on the same page in life? Do we agree on where we want to live, how many kids we want, or not? Do we like dogs? Do we not like dogs? Do we want a ranch? Do we want to live in a high rise? Are they agreeable with what I want out of life? So that's number 2.
I guess we're going to talk after this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. This is leading up to something off air. No, number 3, appearance. Let's be honest.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. This is some classic stuff.
Thank you.
We're definitely going to talk after this.
Number 3, am I embarrassed? I think, what's going to happen in 20 years?
I am not.
What is their like for you? Come on, men, we know you do it. We know you look at my mom and see if that's going to go. Well, don't think we don't look at your dad and see how this is going to go.
I'm not passing Jill's acquisition criteria.
So affordable, agreeable, appearance. And number 4, this is a good A for my relationship, accepting.
Yeah. You do need an accepting
I
person.
do need accepting.
We all do.
Because I might not come up with the best ideas at the best time, but are they going to roll with the punches? And are they going to be like, whew, all right, this is a Jill thing. We're going to go with it. Are they accepting of me and all of my quirks and whatever have you, and so we can have a nice life. So that's my 4 A's.
I'm going to run through the 8 A's.
Okay.
Unlike Jill, I didn't create my own as entertaining as they are. You got your affordability, so you got your gold diggers. You got your. I tend to look at people as a profit center or a cost center, whether it's Jill, our children, or employees or customers or any of that.
That's very true.
Jill's a profit center, period. And I've been involved, like many people, with cost centers. You don't want that. Our children, and I don't think it's any accident, all 3 of them are all profit centers for themselves. One of them's a profit center for us.
It's true.
As far as employees go, they're technically a cost center until they're a salesperson or something like that. But we don't have any longer, and we never will again, if I have much to say about it, cost center employees. They're all profit centers in some way. And then finally, customers. So,
why are we talking about customers and things just about relationships?
Well, I'm moving on quickly.
Oh.
Customers are either a cost center or a profit center. And the vast majority are profit centers until about 5%, maybe less, 2 to 5% are just the most annoying people you've ever met. And I believe that they know who they are. They know they're annoying.
This is event
and they know they're a cost center. And that's an acceptable percentage, and so we carry on. Access. I don't know what to say about that.
Can I get to them? Are they available when I need them? That's access.
Oh.
In a relationship.
Or do you have a good line of communication?
Yeah.
Adjacent. I don't think that applies here.
Yeah. How do they line up to all the other women? How would it help you?
Jill's having a little too much fun with this.
I got this. I prefer brunettes. Is this one a brunette? Compared to all the other adjacent brunettes, how does this one measure up?
So you look at women like a chorus line.
This is the whole exercise today. This is the point.
Or an old school brothel.
And by the way,
Just pick one out.
Next one is acreage. Boy, be careful how you answer this one.
Bigger's not better here.
Exactly. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Attributes. You need somebody with some attributes.
Of
and
course.
Not just attributes. Like Brad Pitt's got a lot of attributes, but for some people, those aren't the attributes that matter the most. So you got to pick and choose which attributes you want.
Yep.
Alive is self-explanatory.
Yep.
If you don't want an alive spouse, you've got bigger issues than due diligence.
Yep.
Abundance. I think it's important when you're young and you're shopping for around that you do have a lot of transaction opportunity.
Nice.
Don't you?
Okay,
Up your
yes, I
numbers?
agree. Yeah, up your numbers. I do agree with that. That's true.
When I met Jill, she said, "You're the result of me upping my numbers,"
That's true.
meaning more acquisition activity, potential acquisition activity.
That's how you weed through them.
And finally, afraid, which I think we talked a little bit about yesterday. And I think this is very important.
Yeah.
If you just can't put your finger on it,
But you're afraid.
why that guy might not work, don't marry him.
If you feel the need, like a coworker I had a long time ago, to do a background check on your boyfriend, that might be a red flag. That's afraid.
Afraid's really important for what we're talking about here. Not as important for real estate acquisitions, but I think there's always an element of afraid.
Oh gosh. It
I'm
never
afraid-
goes away.
I'm afraid of what's going to happen
Oh my
when you turn
gosh.
this camera off.
Oh no. Join us next week for another interesting episode.
You
Or
are not-
5 interesting episodes, I should say.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.